I'm David Settle from Wyopreps.com. Time for our Athletes of the Week presented by Premier Bone and Joint Centers. We're worthy of Wyoming, and certainly this young lady was worthy of our Athlete of the Week honor as she helped the Cody Phillies go 6-0 on the softball diamond last week. They beat Worland twice, 4-1 and 18-0, beat Jackson 10-0 and 8-4, and then won slugfests against Natrona, I guess is maybe the best way to describe it, 13-11 and 17-10. The big one was that 13-11 victory, which was a conference win and helped Cody into a three-way tie in the Northwest Conference. But Amelia Reinker goes 14 for 24 at the plate in the leadoff spot. That's a 583 batting average. She had 4 doubles, hit 2 home runs, scored 14 times, and that means she's getting on base a lot, and then also had 5 RBIs. Amelia joins me right now. First of all, congrats on a great week for you. Take me back team-wise. How big of a week was that for you and your Philly teammates last week to go 6-0 and kind of maybe get a little momentum late in the season?
It was really good for us because we had kind of a small losing streak against the Casper team. So getting those wins was really good for our so it was really good for us.
I got you. You're talking about your team morale. What do you think the key was to going 6-0 last week for the team?
Well, we talked about it after the Casper games because we won the second Kelly Walsh game, and we just talked about how we wanted to start a streak because it was good to get a streak going into regionals, and it was just good momentum for us. So we just wanted to have good attitudes going into the games.
Obviously, Cody's had a lot of success the first 4 years, got off to a little bit of a slower start this year. Was that just because some of the stalwarts were gone and you kind of had to adjust to maybe a new team this year, Amelia?
Yeah, we lost 7 of our starters last year with all the seniors, so we had a lot of positions to fill. But we've really improved, and I'm really happy with how far we've gone through the season.
How do you think you played last week, going 14 for 24 in that leadoff spot? And then also talk about your defense as well.
I think it went really well. I just try to go up to bat, clearing my mind, because I'm just trying to help out my team and get us going for every inning and stuff. And defensively, I'm really liking outfield, and I really like it out there. Yeah.
For you, what is kind of your approach at the plate, especially in that leadoff spot? Now, you're not hitting leadoff every time you go up to bat, but what's kind of your approach in your mindset?
I just like to take the pressure off myself and just clear my mind and take a deep breath every time I go up and just focus on the next pitch every single time. Like if I get a strike called on me, I just have to focus on the next pitch. So that's just really important for me to clear my mind before every at bat.
Well, obviously it worked pretty well last week, considering the numbers you put up. Was there something in particular that you thought you did well last week?
I don't really know. I just tried to clear my head because I wanted to get our winning streak going for us. So I just tried to take all the pressure off us and just remember it's just a game and it's just to have fun. So, yeah.
What do you think it's going to take to be successful in the tough North Regional this week for you and Cody?
I definitely think it's important for us to keep good attitudes because even if we make a few errors, we can't dwell on that. We need to learn from them and then move on. So I think that's a really big thing that we've been trying to focus on with our winning streak these past weeks. So I think that's just a good thing for us to focus on.
For you personally, how much do you feel like you've grown this season? Where are some areas that you've really felt you've made some good strides or improvements in this season?
I feel I've grown a lot this season. When we went up to Cheyenne for our first tournaments, I wasn't batting as well. And I think it's just because I put so much pressure on myself being in the leadoff because I've never been in that position before. So I just tried to learn how to take pressure off myself and clear my mind with every at bat and just think about my team more than myself.
Where does your love for softball come from?
I've been playing it for 6 or 7 years now. And so it's from my childhood and I've grown up with a lot of my teammates. And so I just love playing with them. And I find it so much fun.
Speaking of that fun, what is kind of the vibe with you and your teammates? How would you kind of describe or characterize Cody Philly softball this year?
I think we're a really fun team. I really enjoy playing with us. I think just after every game, we just get more and more excited. And I just love that feeling because we just bring so much energy. And I just love the positive attitudes from our team this year.
Well, here's to keeping it going this weekend. Wish you best of luck in Casper. Thank you for taking a few minutes and congratulations again on being one of our athletes of the week, Amelia.
Thank you.
David Sutter with you from Wyopreps.com. We continue talking about this week's Athletes of the Week presented by Premier Bone and Joint Centers. We're worthy of Wyoming, and this young man certainly had a worthy week last week as he won not one, not two, but three times different track meets where he swept the throwing events. I'm talking about Derek Hagler from Kimmer High School as he won the shot put and discus at the home meet, the Rector Invite. So that's pretty good, right? Then he goes to the Bobcat Track and Field Invite in Thermopolis, wins that, and then ends up winning the Shane Brock the next day in Lander. So goes 6 for 6 across three meets. Let's see. He won the discus by 11 feet in the Rector Invitational, and the shot put by over 6 feet. At the Bobcat in Thermopolis, he won the discus by over 17 feet and the shot put by just over 3 feet. Then won by over 10 feet in the discus at the Shane Brock in Lander, and then the shot put by over 3 feet. Derek joins me now. What a week it was for you, bud. Congratulations. Take me back to last week. What was that like competing in a lot of track meets in a short amount of time, yet you still were competing at a very high level? What was that like for you?
Going into those meets, Coach Thatcher always wanted us to have Ranger grit and Ranger pride. And going into that Kemmer meet, I really wanted to show out. I had a good throw at shot, but I really showed out in disc. And then going into the next day, Mr. Thatcher was like, hey, let's show up again. And I threw good in shot, threw a 51, and then in discus, showed up again. I've always wanted to win that meet because I've always handed out shirts, and it's just been an amazing goal of mine. And then this last meet, I ended up breaking our school record in shot put with a throw of 54, 6 1/4. And that's always been my high school dream of breaking that record. So that was amazing.
Well, congratulations on all that success and your best mark in the discus. You talked about at home, 149.9, I believe, and to dominate that. What has it been? Because I've seen you put up some great numbers throughout this season. What's been the key for you? Let's start in the discus.
So mentally, getting prepared before each throw is a big key for me. I always run through the throw at least 6 or 7 times before I get into that ring. And then right before I get into that ring, I say a little prayer and I just get going.
What about the shot put? Because obviously, the discus you're spinning around. It's probably way light compared to the shot put, which I'm sure you got to balance a little bit. But what's different for you with the shot put?
Shot put, I like to get a lot more hyped. So right before the shot put, I'm listening to heavy metal, just get going. I want to get, as much jitter out as I can so I can just rip the crap out of that thing. Right before indoor state, like I said, heavy metal, get going, and I ended up breaking the 3A state record. So that was pretty much what I wanted to do.
All right. What's this heavy metal playlist can consist of? This is
Five
a
finger death
G-rated.
punch.
Hold on. This is a G-rated show, by the way. So
We got Five Finger Death Punch on there. We got some Papa Roach, and then my dad introduced me to this one song. I can't say but what it's by, but it's called Pepper, and the band's not PG-13, so we won't say what band it is.
all right, all right, all right. I think I know where you're going on that one. So thank you for that. For you, where does the love of throwing come from?
So throwing has always been my motive after I dislocated my knee wrestling my sophomore year. I ended up having to get surgery my junior year, and I couldn't wrestle. So I was like, might try indoor track, see where that goes. And I was gonna swim. I was gonna try swimming,
Okay.
but then my principal was like, "Hey, you should probably try some indoor track just to get going on some shot put." And I was like, "All right." I really liked it. And then going into this next year, my goal was to get over that 54 mark so that I could really break our school record because it's been standing for over 25 years. And I ended up, like I said, I got the 3A state record, and that really helped push me into the outdoor season. So it's been motivating to really get that record and go into regionals, and I want to break it again.
So you really transitioned from something maybe you loved in wrestling to maybe now something you love in track and field now, huh?
Yep, yep. I love track and field.
All right. So then obviously you got some big meets coming up, regional, state. You're already pre-qualified in both. What will be some keys for you these next couple weeks to maybe try and peak at this time of year, I guess, Derek?
hmm So for some reason, I always throw good at state. It's been my thing. Um, but it's really just the mental preparation and hitting all the practices. You can't skip a single day. I really been drilling the technique. I want to get it perfect just so I can get another PR and I can win state this next couple weeks.
Well, you mentioned peaking and throwing well at state? Is that just, do you love kind of the competition and seeing kind of the best of the best at that point?
I love talking to all the throwers. I love seeing what they're all about, but it is all about the competition. I love, seeing how far I can outthrow everybody.
Well, Derek Hagler, what a week you had last week. Again, he swept the discus and the shot at 3 track meets last week, and he's one of our athletes of the week. Thank you for a few minutes, and congratulations.
Thank you.